Alright, guys. 6:01. Oh, we're trying to make this quick um, and short as possible. I try to make it short as possible, folks. Um, um, yeah, so kind of gonna make this very short and very less painful. Um, I know yesterday I addressed it, and I'm going to just find it first. Um, I'm pretty good. It's alright. Yeah. All right. Oh, one thing I wanted to. Oh, yeah. Let's address that real quick. Um, just all right. Well, guys, I didn't think it was possible, but we will go more in depth. But um, all right. So, with that being said, here we go. All right. Kind of missed it because I was not paying attention to it. But guys, I covered the confirmation hearing 3 different days. For both 3 different days, I kind of just didn't do them on sync. Yesterday they did a. I'm sorry. A few days ago they did a vote in the judiciary, one like proceeding, whatever, just to vote, whatever. Today was the vote um that she just got confirmed. Okay, so that brings it up to speed here for the video that I'm about to display for y'all because yeah, let's just go, and then we'll have commentary after that. But I do like Kamala Harris. She is like my favorite person to deal with. So here we go. Oh, Lordy.
3, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed.
Just to clarify something here, as you guys notice, Ted Cruz gets up, or she's standing up, and you start to see that he walks off. Um, this is because, and this is because what Kamala Harris just said minutes before that was that 53 to 47. Ultimately, she got confirmed with the 53 to 47. Okay, he got up, he starts walking away because he is not happy that she got confirmed. That's just, I think that's why he got up, and that's why he's starting to walk away. Um,
Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the President will immediately be notified of the Senate's action.
Madam President, very happily, I note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.
It is an historic moment for this country. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is now a future Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
One thing I wanted to touch on is you saw that Ted Cruz left the room in disapproval. And that was just shown uh, from her confirmation hearing. Of course, he yelled at her twice. If y'all don't remember this, he yelled at her twice, and then didn't let her answer the question he was asking her, and then ran over time. Let's just keep that in mind. So him walking out, I really don't want to give light to, but you see the problem. The problem with that is he walks out because you can see it on his face. He doesn't like that she just got confirmed. Um, again, um, votes 53 to 47. Obviously, with uh, some Republicans voting for her nomination. So you obviously have all of the Democratic senators. You have Joe Manchin, who voted, Susan Collins, and Mitt Romney, who also voted for her um, nomination. But I don't know all the senators who, I know Republicans definitely voted against it. But we are definitely going to get more, like, what we're going to do is we're going to then basically just go through that whole proceeding, as like I just went through this part. But as you guys can see, um, as it always is in the Senate, there is like a motion to reconsider, and then again, Joe Biden will have to nominate a new person, go through the same process, and eventually we would get somewhere. Um, so that's just one. So basically, I think um, after Kamala Harris announced that they were calling roll, she did step out, but I don't know. I believe they're leaving. At this point, I think they're leaving. But yeah. So Brown Jackson will be the next justice after Justice Breyer retires. So that's just another thing. I think most people are most people are happy about that. She has just got confirmed, and yeah. So at this point, I believe her family. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think her family was in the room. I think was in the room. I'm not too sure. Um, but let me just a second. Um, and you can also see where Kamala Harris does break down a little bit. You can start to see she breaks down a little because it's like
The motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the president will immediately be notified of the Senate's action.
Madam President, very happily, I note the absence of a quorum. Very happily, I note the
Of the Senate's action.
Madam President, very happily, I note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.
Here it is.
and you can see it in her face. You can tell she's very excited for this now confirmed nominee. We don't even call her nominee anymore, but we will call her Justice. Justice Jackson will be the next justice on Supreme Court. So I think like there is a lot of things, and just to touch on some of the things that Republicans have said, that she was soft on crime, and soft on her sentences, and just basically to derail, her being nominated, and not only that, but to just utterly disrespect her while sitting in that proceeding. But I do think like she definitely, I'm just gonna go out and say it. Yeah, she handled herself very. Let's just be clear. She handled herself like she didn't yell at Lindsey Graham when he asked the question. She didn't yell at Ted Cruz, and of course Josh Hawley. the big one. But let's just be clear. We do have an incident with one of the justices on the Supreme Court right now, which is going to be Clarence Thomas. His wife, there's a whole thing with his wife and him, whatever, um, at the current moment. So that there's a whole bunch of problems there, and I'm just not going to get into that today because like that's a whole load of stuff that I don't want to even discuss because yeah, let's leave that for Monday. Let's leave that for Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, actually, even for Monday, Tuesday, because it'll be easier and I can definitely go more into all of that stuff. Um, but yeah, that's just I think where we are right now. Now, the other thing I addressed yesterday, which I'm not addressing again. So for anybody that wants me to address that part, that thing I said yesterday, I'm not addressing it again. Of course, I'll play that live stream from yesterday where I addressed it. I'm not addressing it again. In the beginning of it, what I said was the whole thing with Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I just I already addressed and I already said how I felt about it. And I also just kind of gave an answer that everybody might have wanted to know. I feel like they're both wrong in a certain sense. Okay, yes, Will Smith is wrong for slapping Chris Rock on national television. I think nobody. I think in and I'm not even defending anybody's actions here, but I'm just gonna say that number one, and I'm gonna say this for the last time. I'm not gonna repeat it again because it's over and done with. But let's just be clear. Number one, I don't agree with. There's a few things that I don't agree with Will Smith and him getting up out of his seat to slap Chris Rock on national television while they're live. I think for me, in itself, just doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't sit too nicely with anybody who has watched him in certain films, and to watch him do this action, I think just made it worse. And the thing is that do I feel like Chris Rock went a little too far? I do think he went a little far. I think yes, it was a joke, but at the same time, I don't think that Jada felt like it was a joke at all. You could tell by the way her face looked. I already said about how she reacted, and I think the way she reacted started the problem to begin with. Um, and I think that's where, you know, I think that's where the issue became, where now it's gotten too much. I think after when he made the joke, her reaction was she rolled her eyes. We all saw it, and that's I think what sparked Will to get up out of his seat and slap Chris Rock. Um, because if you did see at the beginning, he did laugh after he made the joke, but then it just went to the point where you saw her roll her eyes, and when she rolled her eyes, that was I think when either I don't know, like I think Will looked at her and saw her reaction, and then of course he just felt like, yeah, that's too far, disrespected his wife, and yeah, he just went for the first thing he thought was necessary. Which again, I don't feel like it was necessary for you to slap to slap the guy. On national while they were live on television. However, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't have slapped Chris Rock. I would have kind of just basically pulled him aside. Basically, you know, if they do breaks during they do certain type of thing. I would have went after. I would have handled that conversation. I would have had a conversation with him. And I think if Will would have had a conversation with Chris at the end of the show, rather than getting up at his seat and slapping him in the face, maybe he wouldn't be in the position where he is right now. I'm just, I'm not bad mouthing anybody here, but I'm just saying. Um, I think Will Smith needs to understand that the problem with The problem is, see, the problem isn't that he reacted. The problem is that he went and inflicted violence. Well, I wouldn't say violence, but I would say he inflicted a little bit of anger towards Chris Rock after the joke. And I look, you could be angry at him, yell at him, or if you want to, but the one thing I don't say slap the guy on national television for the whole world to see. That's number one. Number two, I just feel like you slap the guy on national television, everybody sees it, and now everybody's talking about it. They continue to talk about it because, well, look at where we are. Just saying, it has just gotten more challenging for Will to actually have his career is now in jeopardy here. Um, and yeah, this could all have been avoided had Will not gotten up out of his seat and slapped the hell out of Chris Rock. I'm just saying. I think you know they do. I feel like they need to sit down, have a conversation, and just figure it out from there. I don't think that Do I think that the conversation is going to go well with both of them? I don't think so. Knowing that I think at this point, I think there has to be something done about that. Do I think the academy needs to uh, you know figure out what they're going to do with him? You just need to figure out what they're going to do with him. And a lot of people, have said and voiced this a little bit more, where they have said that, you know, Will Smith shouldn't have been allowed to accept his award. Quite frankly, and quite frankly, I do think that I do agree. Do I agree with their statement to a certain extent? I do feel like yes, he shouldn't have been allowed to remain there because again, that was just that was a bit much. And yeah, I just don't think having him there, you know, would having him remain there was just not necessary. I think he should have just, left. You know, either he goes outside or whatever. But yeah, I don't feel like him. I think everything was now more tension, and I feel like you know Chris had to tiptoe on what he said because again, he just got slapped because he made a GI Jane joke, which again, I do feel like yeah, the joke was out of the joke was a little bit out of character, just a little. I think it's when he referenced the GI Jane movie. I think people that have watched it might have might have kind of realized if you didn't realize what the joke was really referencing, and I don't think that he was referencing that. I wasn't saying like I'm not saying that he's referencing that Jada is bald headed, but I do think yeah I'm just saying like you don't compare. And the thing is, yeah, you can say hello to Jada, blah blah blah, introduce say hello to her, but I don't think doing I first of all I just don't think that you should have made the joke to begin with. Because if you, I mean, look, it's just it caused issues, obviously. Um, and and I just want to just say that I'm glad that Chris Rock addressed it. I'm glad that he has obviously moved past it somehow. But at first, of course, the news stories can't get past it right now because that's all they talk. They're talking about that. But that's where we're gonna leave it for today. The next thing we're gonna get into in a short time is Russia and Ukraine. That's a big topic right now. That's a whole bunch of stuff, but as of right now, that's just yeah, it's just a little bit more stuff. In other news, as you guys watched yesterday, Barack Obama returned back to the White House yesterday for the 12-year anniversary of the ACA. Which again, if y'all didn't watch that video or y'all didn't watch that live stream, that is on you. But I will definitely show you guys. I will show. Yeah, he shouldn't have made that joke about his wife. Yada yada yada. I will show it to you because, like I said, I am a nice person and I intend on sharing it with you. But yeah, all right, we're gonna get started to the beginning of where I started to. Yeah, to listen to obviously from the audio library of YouTube, but also the video links that I posted here. And I just want to say, oh yeah. Also with Will Smith, I watched. Still getting used to that, by the way. So we are definitely the insanity that happened during that day. All right, just so y'all can get like a little bit of a just so y'all could understand what happened, and I just want to, you know, I just want to address, like, I just want y'all to address, um, and I just want to go ahead and address it, and then I'm gonna also give you guys what he then said a couple days ago. But first, let's get into it. Let's get into it because this is a juicy topic. Because everybody want to know what's going on with Will Smith. So we gonna get into him a little bit today. So this is basically what I'm putting up here for y'all right now is going to be time. Now I want y'all to pay attention. I want you to pay attention. But I'll give you a little bit of context to what happened before that. Before he got on stage, we go to him slapping Chris Rock on stage. One of the things, the reason. So okay, a little bit of the background of why he got up was if you watched it before, you might have watched Chris Rock say something about Jada Pinkett Smith, and that might have already that might have just been the worst thing. And I'm not bashing Chris Rock because Chris Rock is a good dude. I like him. But I don't watch Everybody Hates Chris to every other thing that he's been in. So yeah. Also with Will Smith, I watched Men in Black. So here is here is a little bit of what Chris. Again, like I said, I already addressed it yesterday. I'm not addressing it again. This is the first and last. This is the second and last time I'm addressing it. As you guys can see there, I went ahead and addressed that whole in yesterday's live stream. I addressed it. Of course, I gave y'all a little bit of not the whole entire thing, but I did give you a little bit of the slap and then the comment after that, just so you guys can see, the incident and then also what happened. Like I said, already addressed it. I'm not addressing it again. It's just like, to be honest with you, I'm not saying, you know, now it's gotten even worse. If y'all didn't understand, we are definitely going to get into. So we are definitely going to get into the next thing, which is going to be the Senate confirmation thing. We're going to get into that momentarily. We're going to go back to that momentarily. But I do want to address something that DL previously said to Chris Rock's daughters and himself. So let's go into a little bit of what he said. And I'm gonna also, again, like I always do, give my commentary because commentary is key to a lot of things I do here. But yeah, like I said, Fridays is the day I'm going to sit there with my lovely binder, and I have a whole bunch of topics to throw out on Monday. So that binder is getting filled this weekend, so that I'm prepared on Monday to start, which is going to be a little nuts, but we're going to definitely try to have we're going to have a lot of topics on Monday. That's number one. Okay. Now, second thing is I'm working on the politics side where I am trying to get interviews with our two Democratic leaders at the moment. Hopefully, we're working on that. It's going to take a while. Trust me. Um, you all don't understand. Now, I'm going to just address it for y'all today. All right. And I'm addressing this again. So here we go. All right. All right. So let's get into it. Here you go. Folks, y'all can do what y'all want to do with this. I don't care. Y'all can easily, there's an unsubscribe button at the bottom of the bottom of the screen. I'm just saying, you can do whatever you want.
Y'all
All right.
doing? We got some more news update. It looked like Will Smith, Data, and Chris Rock, and I want you guys to hear him out and make a comment. I love you guys commenting. Check it out. Go ahead, DL.
It was fabulous, and Tamia, I have participated in this, so I know it to be true. There has been a lot of attention given to Will's mindset that night. The night that there's a lot of attention given to what it must have driven him to this, how he got to this, what he must have been thinking, what was the tipping point, and it's been pretty consistent across the board. I think the one thing that we know for sure is that perspective has been delved into. What I haven't, and I'm sorry about this, given as much attention to, is how Chris must be feeling. Chris is 57, I'm 58, Will is 53. We are all eligible for the early bird special. And an almost 60-year-old man got slapped in front of the world. The world. Everybody saw it. Slapped in front of the world. He'd avoided getting slapped growing up in Brooklyn. He'd avoided getting slapped on the many stages he's been on. But he could not avoid the Oscars. And that makes me sad. And it makes me sad that I've spent time in this chair myself, lamenting what Will must have gone through, and very little thought as to what Chris must be going through. And the fact that Chris hasn't, to date, released a statement lets me know that he is dealing with this in some kind of way. There's no doubt that Will has had a level of recrimination. He's been derided, but there also was an outpouring in love and support. He had actors come to his aid after it was over and wipe his tears away. He got to sit down. He got to enjoy the show. He got to laugh at other jokes. He got to get an award that he's been longing for his entire career. He got to be celebrated. He got a standing ovation. He got to go to the after parties and get jiggy with it. And then he got to go home and write an apology. I don't begrudge him that. But I tell you this, I don't think the offense was worth a lifetime of this. Chris Rock will forever be the man who got slapped at the Oscars, forever. And I don't think the offense matches the punishment. I do not at all. But it has happened, and it will be indelible. We will forget what he said, but never that he got slapped. There may well be a cure for alopecia, but we'll still remember this.
I do want to address this because, like I said, I don't have no ill will to either one of those two people. I don't. I like watching both of those. I've watched Will on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watched him in Men in Black 3. And yeah, I've watched Chris Rock on many of his different things. Preferably, Everybody Hates Chris, and that's my favorite show. Just if you're wondering. Now, I do like what DL said. I do think that again, he's 57. Okay, Chris Rock is 57. Will is 53. They're old. They're old guys. Just keep that in mind. He's not young. They're not young. They're old, right? That doesn't. I just want to be clear on something. I agree with what he said. You know, I do think that Will went to write a apology that night. Look, that doesn't change the. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that you slapped the guy. On stage. You know, it just yeah, like you said, it doesn't change. Like it doesn't change the fact that you slapped the guy on stage by television. I just look. I don't understand. Like I understand that we get upset over certain things, but there's certain things we got to understand that yeah, you could have it. There's two different things. You're on live television first. That's number one, and we just got to understand that there are certain things. Again, this is why we are taught this from a very little age that keep your hands to yourself because stuff like this will happen, and then you will definitely be in the situation that Will Smith is in, and might not be good for you. And it will not be good enough. It will not be good for you if you end up on the news in a bad way. Just saying. Just just to be clear on that, because yeah, let's just be clear. Just like if you were to get up on that stage and slap Chris Rock for that same exact thing, yeah, you first of all you'd end up on the news. Yeah, and you're lucky, and Will Smith is lucky that he didn't get charges pressed against him because we all know that he would have ended up in jail. Just saying. Will Smith would have ended up in jail if Chris Rock would have pressed charges. But you're lucky that he didn't do so. But like I said, I'm not bashing either one of them. But I'm just saying we got to think about our actions because it's not the words that we choose, it's not the words that we say. It is our actions and how we react to certain things. Trust me, I know. I've been in a situation. I've been in that situation where I'm at an event where there's news there. There's news people there. There's reporters there, and there's things there. There's you're on live television. But I've been in an instance where yeah, somebody has said something that was just off the rails when it was kind of reckless, and you know I I didn't slap the person that said it because like I said I had a thing where I have a thing where I don't get if somebody says something reckless to me about me while I'm in there, I don't react because if you react, you're making the person win. And I'm not saying that in this case, I'm not saying that you know Chris had it out for Will at this event. I'm not saying that. I think that Chris was making trying to make people laugh in the beginning uh, of the Oscars, which I think he's a comedian. That's his job. That's what he does. He makes people laugh. Trust me, he's made me laugh several times. And like I said, we're just gonna leave it at that. But all in all, I do think that Will Smith needs to understand that you know you know just our actions speak louder than our words. And I think in this case, him writing that apology is just, I'm not saying that it's just words, but it is words. But the action that you committed kind of is really ridiculous. I mean, you committed an act where you slapped the person because they talked about your wife. I understand that's your wife, but we can't react in that way. Just because it doesn't create a good look for you. And I am sorry to say this, but yeah, it's not looking good for Will Smith. He slapped the guy, and you know, now he's feeling it. Now he's feeling that pain, that I think it's necessary because you slapped a guy on national television, and everybody has their way in, and you got to understand that this is because you decided to do what you did. That's the best way I could put that, and that's the way I'm gonna put that to bed tonight. Trust me. I don't want to address it again for the third day, But yes, um, now we are definitely going to um, now. One thing I want to say, and one thing is, we're gonna get into the thing that y'all don't realize or y'all didn't see yesterday. If y'all didn't see that yesterday, well, it is there. It is on the channel. It is on there. What I'm going to do in the course of tomorrow and to Monday is all of our political talks and all the political talk videos. What I'm going to do in the course of tomorrow will be they will be in a playlist, and they'll be in a playlist where you guys can find all the political talks, and then basically when you guys go to the homepage, it'll look a little different because right now I have uh, I have my OpenVBE stuff that I have done before. I'm gonna put that all into a playlist there. You guys can, you know, look at it as you see fit. And then the political talks, we're gonna definitely rearrange them so that they're in a different way. Now, if y'all know me, I've done gaming. I've done just regular me having conversations. This this is another point where I've gone into talking, but I've also now got into politics. Listen, I am not old, but I am still young, and I'm very much into our politics. I'm just saying. I've gotten into politics a little bit more than I think I should have. Um, and I kind of bit off a little bit more than I could chew in that sense. Um, because I think with politics it becomes now you have to tiptoe on what you say, and I think I've had to tiptoe on certain things that I wanted to say about our former guy, which of course I wanted to say a few things, but I know that the last time I tried to do that, I got a whole bunch of comments while I was in the stream, you know, basically where people brought up points about this, that, and the other thing, and I just, yeah, I'm trying to do better. That's why I'm like, if I see y'all comment some stupidness or some craziness, I'm not gonna address you. I'm not going to. I'm gonna be that different person, and I'm going to, yeah, comment all the crazy stuff that you want. I'm just not gonna look at you. I'm not gonna look at your comments because I know how I get when people come crazy. I get crazier. I don't think we all need that, and I don't need I don't need, first of all, I don't need to be I don't need to be you know told. I don't need to be told by YouTube that I'm a little aggressive. All right. So I'm trying to be very much more calm. I'm trying to be a calm person, okay? 2022, my New Year's resolution was to be calmer and not react. I am doing very good at that. So let's not let me not get into that crazy mode that I was in 2021. Okay, 2021 I was like a crazy person, and every time y'all commented something crazy, I cursed one of y'all out in the next live stream. 2022, we are trying to move away from cursing y'all out to just ignore y'all, because I think every time I've responded to y'all on the live stream, because what I ended up doing was I would always have like the live chat next to me as I'm looking at it, so I didn't have to look into the studio itself. So there would just be a chat overlay where I would just see y'all comment, respond to it as I saw them. Like I said, y'all comment crazy stuff, y'all getting timed out, no questions asked, and we're gonna also. I'm going to eventually. Well, I'm in the process of doing this right now. So I'm gonna have moderators for my live streams for obvious reasons, so that I don't have to put up with the bull crap that y'all put in the comments. Just being honest. Um, I don't have the patience to deal with it otherwise, because somebody's gonna get cursed out. All right, I will bring it back. I'll bring the crazy me that I had in 21 back into 22, and I really really am not trying to do that. Because then that causes me to have my friends call me all type of craziness and be like, "Oh, you're a crazy person. I've gotten called all type of names from my friends because yeah, y'all people drive me to that point. So let's not do that. Now, let me go back to the other thing if I can find it.
An historic moment for this country.
Okay, here we go.
Under
Now we are going to go back. I think. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so we are going to go into a little bit more of politics really quickly, and yeah, I'm not gonna go into their full statements today, just because for time's sake, and they are very long. Now, what I am gonna do is I'm going to let's just see.
the previous order, all cloture time has expired. The question occurs on the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson of the District of Columbia to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
I ask for the yeas and nays.
Is, is, is there a sufficient second?
Yeah, I gotta love. All right, y'all. I don't know what I love the most, but to see Kamala Harris sitting in that seat of the the president of the Senate, I I don't know what brings me more joy. It's to see her sitting in that seat or to see her in the vice president role. I think both of them, to be honest, I do feel like it is a good thing to see her sitting in that seat, and also to be a vice president. Like I said, I really didn't say nothing when they won the 2020 election, but I just want to say that you know I do feel like Joe Biden did a good job um, by picking her out of everybody else. Um, and she's just like, if you guys watch how she speaks to people, it is it is how she conducts herself in that way. And again, with Joe Biden, yeah, it's more of he understands that when he comes to do a briefing, you got the Peter Ducey of the world to try to throw gotcha questions at him, and you know it's just gotten to the point where they will do that to him. Um, for every word that he's again the whole thing about Russia. Yeah, we're gonna get into that on Monday because, like I said, it's Thursday. I am relaxing tomorrow because I don't got time. I have I'm trying to enjoy myself rather than worrying about every little this thing that Joe Biden says on his lips. I feel like I feel like Fox News, if y'all, and this might be a hint to Fox News, just to FYI, guys, if you really want to tiptoe on somebody's words, word for word, and judge them for their words, go back to 45. That's all I'm gonna say. Go back to 45, and you'll see what 45 has said that were out. First of all, outrageous. Second of all, I think if y'all watched him say what he said, crazy. And um, I was just having this conversation with my grandmother, and like I said, me and my grandmother, we are like politics in itself, because we talk and we do definitely talk about politics and we talk about news and stuff. So one thing she did say in our last conversation that we had, she let's just say, she used the words that I definitely would have used had I said it. But she said that 45 was a jerk and he's a lunatic, um, and that he's a lunatic. And one of the things that he did say is that um, you could use bleach and all these other things. I think that's the point where people got to look back at. at what, and I feel like if you want to do what presidents say, if you want to look at that, please go and watch. Every time that Trump has come on to, you know, every time that he's come on to do a press conference, and in that first, let me just bring it back to that press conference where he said those things. So if you really want to tiptoe on Joe Biden for certain words, yeah, go back to that, and then come to me and tell me that's more absurd than what you know Joe Biden has done. I mean, Joe Biden is he's doing his best job as president. As president, however, you do have some Republicans that do not want to help him do his job. Okay, because they have to pass stuff in order for him to sign into law. But there are certain things that he can do outside of the Senate, which again, everything this is why we have three branches of government, but two of them kind of work together. The executive and the legislative both work together because in order to have executive, you need the legislative. And in order to have legislative, you need the executive. So, but you also need the judicial. But yeah, when it comes to policy and stuff like that, laws, yeah, you need all three of them. And again, this is why we have all three branches of government so that Joe Biden can't just overthrow, can't just say, "Oh, I rule the country and this is what I want." There's a whole procedure into that. So again, I ramble on about politics like a crazy person, but here we go.
There is, and certainly appears to be, a sufficient second. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin, aye. Mr. Barrasso. No. Mr. Barrasso, no. Mr. Bennett. Aye. Mr. Bennett, aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn, no. Mr. Blumenthal. Aye. Mr. Blumenthal, aye. Mr. Blunt. No. Mr. Blunt, no. Mr. Booker. Yes. Mr. Booker, aye. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Bozeman, no. Mr. Braun. Mr. Braun, no. Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, aye. Mr. Burr. Mr. Burr, no. Ms. Cantwell. Ms. Cantwell, aye. Mrs. Capito. Mrs. Capito, no. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Cardin, aye. Mr. Carper. Mr. Carper, aye. Mr. Casey. Mr. Casey, aye. Mr. Cassidy. Mr. Cassidy, no. Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins, aye. Mr. Coons. Mr. Coons, aye. Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Cornyn, no. Ms. Cortez Masto. Ms. Cortez Masto, aye. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Cotton, no. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Kramer, no. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Crapo, no. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz, no. Mr. Daines. Mr. Daines, no. Ms. Duckworth. Ms. Duckworth, aye. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Durbin, aye. Ms. Ernst. Ms. Ernst, no.
If y'all remember what I said about roll call, and I touched on this, I touched on this the last time they did this, not for this, but for the impeachment trial. I did go over that the last time, and I did say that when they do this, they go through everybody, but it's a long list because there's a lot of senators that they have to go through. So they have to go through a lot, and they go in alphabetical order. Do I wish they would go in opposite order and just do it, to get them all done at the same time? It would be great, but this is a procedure and it is stressful. It's irritating. I get that. So just keep that in mind.
Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Feinstein, aye. Mrs. Fisher. No. Mrs. Fisher, no. Mrs. Gillibrand. Aye. Mrs. Gillibrand, aye. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mr. Grassley, no. Mr. Haggerty. No. Mr. Haggerty, no. Ms. Hassan. Aye. Ms. Hassan, aye. Mr. Hawley? Mr. Hawley, no. Mr. Heinrich? Mr. Heinrich, aye. Mr. Hickenlooper? Mr. Hickenlooper, aye. Ms. Hirono? Ms. Hirono, aye. Mr. Hoven? Mr. Hoven, no. Mrs. Hyde-Smith? Mrs. Hyde-Smith, no. Mr. Inhofe? Mr. Inhofe, no. Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson, no. Mr. Kane? Mr. Kane, aye. Mr. Kelly? Mr. Kelly, aye. Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Kennedy, no. Mr. King? Mr. King, aye. Ms. Klobuchar? Ms. Klobuchar, aye. Mr. Langford? Mr. Langford, no. Mr. Leahy? Mr. Leahy, aye. Mr. Lee? Mr. Lee, no. Mr. Lujan? Mr. Lujan, aye. Ms. Lummis? Ms. Lummis, no. Mr. Manchin? Mr. Manchin, aye. Mr. Markey? Mr. Markey, aye. Mr. Marshall? Mr. Marshall, no. Mr. McConnell? Mr. McConnell, no. Mr. Menendez? Mr. Menendez, aye. Mr. Merkley? Mr. Merkley, aye. Mr. Moran? Mr. Moran voted in the negative. Ms. Murkowski? Ms. Murkowski, aye. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Murphy, aye. Mrs. Murray? Mrs. Murray, aye. Mr. Ossoff? Mr. Ossoff, aye. Mr. Padilla? Mr. Padilla, aye. Mr. Paul? Mr. Peters? Mr. Peters, aye. Mr. Portman? Mr. Portman, no. Mr. Reed? Mr. Reed, aye. Mr. Risch? Mr. Risch, no. Mr. Romney? Mr. Romney, aye. Ms. Rosen? Ms. Rosen, aye. Mr. Rounds? Mr. Rounds, no. Mr. Rubio?
This might be the
Mr.
longest
Rubio,
process.
no. Mr. Sanders?
This is the longest
Mr.
process that I've
Sanders,
seen. Oh, sorry.
aye.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
My
Sass?
bad. Y'all can
Mr.
hear,
Sass,
but
no.
again,
Mr. Schatz? Mr.
this is the
Schatz,
longest process ever.
aye. Mr. Schumer? Mr. Schumer, aye. Mr. Scott of Florida? Mr. Scott of Florida, no. Mr. Scott of South Carolina? Mr. Scott of South Carolina, no. Mrs. Shaheen? Mrs. Shaheen, aye. Mr. Shelby? Mr. Shelby, no. Ms. Sinema? Ms. Sinema, aye. Ms. Smith?
All right, let's back up for a minute. Because I just heard Senator Sinema's name, and okay, so this is what I thought, y'all. I thought that Sinema was gonna say no to this, and yeah, I was proven wrong in that. So that's a big step there. I was proven wrong in that, and I will take that because I actually did say, and I told my friend this. I said, when it comes to Senator Sinema, I am not sure that she would vote yes in certain things. And this particular thing, I did say she probably wouldn't, but again, I'm proven wrong. But there are certain things that will be voted no by Sinema and Manchin. But this is one of them that I actually was surprised in both of them. But let's proceed because it gets there's a whole list of senators that they still have to go through. They're on S. Hopefully, by the end of this, this is why I like to give y'all that moment of like y'all can see the from the beginning because that was a little bit of a snippet of what happened. I like to give y'all a whole basis of what is going on as you see it. there. I like to do the videos there to explain what I'm talking about because it just makes it easier for me. Um, hopefully, there will be either tomorrow. I'll probably go to City Hall tomorrow. Yes, we will try to book that one person because there is a couple questions that I do have to ask him, and yeah. But yeah, we're obviously going to talk about Mayor Adams on Monday. You know, as much as I like the guy, yeah, I am tired, so I'm not going to address it. All right, moving on. Moving on.
Ms. Smith? Aye. Ms. Stabenow? Ms. Stabenow? Aye. Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Sullivan? No. Mr. Tester? Mr. Tester? Aye. Mr. Thune? Mr. Thune? No. Mr. Tillis? Mr. Tillis? No. Mr. Toomey? Mr. Toomey? No. Mr. Tuberville? Mr. Tuberville? No. Mr. Van Hollen? Mr. Van Hollen? Aye. Mr. Warner? Mr. Warner? Aye. Mr. Warnock? Mr. Warnock? Aye. Ms. Warren? Ms. Warren? Aye. Mr. Whitehouse? Mr. Whitehouse? Aye. Mr. Wicker? Mr. Wicker? No. Mr. Wyden? Mr. Wyden? Aye. Mr. Young? Mr. Young? No. Mr. Graham? Mr. Graham? No.
Point we just heard Mike go off. Um, that is the this guy right here who has called all the names that are present in the Senate. We have had Mr. Cruz over there, who we can't forget Cancun, leaving his people in the dark and leaving them in the freezing cold. Yeah, that's the guy that Texas has elected into their to represent them here in the White House. Not the White House, but Capitol Hill, really. Then you have if I, where then you have McConnell who said no. I'm just trying to pinpoint people that I know that are there by faces. Um, Mr. Lindsey Graham is somewhere, but I don't remember where he is. I don't remember exactly where he's sitting. Mr. Ossoff is somewhere else. But what's his name? What the hell is the guy that got elected with Ossoff? Warnock. Yes. So Warnock is over here, and Senator Collins is also here, but she might be in that. The camera angle is very bad here because you start noticing that they go around, and it's kind of horrible because you can't pinpoint who is here or who is not there, where they are. Okay. Um, uh, all right. So that should be good to go quickly. All right. I'm fast forwarding a little just because I'm kind of in a rush here. I'm almost done here, but I mean, all right. Moving forward. Oh my goodness! Come on! Come on! Come on! They take too long to talk to each other. So that's why I'm fast forwarding because all it is right now is they're just yapping to each other at the moment. So we're gonna just um, yeah, we're just gonna fast forward, folks, because they're just chattering along with each other, and we don't want to hear their mouths. These are a bunch of old people here. No offense to old people. I love old people, but still, I don't really want to hear them chattering. We are here to hear I think they not.
No.
Wait, Oh, come on. Please come on.
Mr. Paul, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, so I think what happened is the reason why he called. Okay, so he might have skipped somebody by accident. All right, yeah. So yeah, definitely he skipped somebody because there's one more senator that's there, Senator Paul, and he forgot that person, so it is his fault. You know, I'm glad he caught that, but in reality, catch that before you start moving, because yeah, that was a failure on his part. I'm sorry, but that was a fail. That was a slip up. We don't usually see those, but yeah. Okay, they're gonna proceed. Kamala Harris is gonna speak, and after she, I'm gonna give a little commentary, go over a little bit of a scheduling that we have here, and then it is outing people, and I will see you next week. But it's going to be outing 5,000 for me momentarily as soon as we get to this conversation, and then I'm going to give my closing remarks, and I am going to be done here for the day. Well, evening, really. It's 7:02, so I'm getting a little bit more of myself.
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed.
All right, so the nomination. Um, all right, now the yeas 53, the nays 47. So in this vote here, it is 53 to 47. Ultimately, the ayes have it, and 53 votes that voted to confirm uh, Justice Jackson, and I'm so happy to say that now. I am very happy to say that now. The next justice on the Supreme Court, Justice Jackson, will be joining the Supreme Court after this vote. Um, it is it is a good thing to actually say that, and I am actually glad to say that. I think for a minute I was like, yeah, there's no way that there's going to be a vote and she's going to get the 53. But I want to say that I am so very happy to see that Justice Jackson will be joining the court after Justice Breyer retires. I believe it was in May, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so happy to say that, and I'm so happy for Judge Jackson to now become the next justice, associate justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. So very happy for her, and she moves on, to be the next justice. And of course, um, yeah, this is basically they're just doing like a roundhouse of applause real quick. Uh,
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed. Is considered made and laid upon the table, and the President will immediately be notified of the Senate's action.
Madam President, very happily, I note the absence of quorum.
all right, and that is that for today. And Judge Jackson becomes Justice Jackson after Justice Breyer retires, and that is that, y'all. That is very exciting. I'm very happy for her. She has worked very hard to get to this point, and I think it is going to be very it's going to be very rewarding for everybody here to finally see this. I think, and to be honest, this is the first time that we've had um, a justice of color on the Supreme Court, which I think we haven't seen in a while. So this is the first time, and I'm very excited for that. Of course, we are going to definitely, obviously, we are going to we're going to talk more about, what this means now for for Jackson as far as her being confirmed as the next associate justice. When we're gonna go more into it next week. I should just do a Friday. I should just do tomorrow and call it a day and just have that conversation with y'all. But I have a life to live, folks. I have a life to live. I don't mean to be mean, but I do have a life, y'all. Outside of this. So yeah, I will be enjoying myself tomorrow, and then I will also be enjoying myself tonight, where I will not be here. Um, but yeah, all in all, I do have to say this: she did very good. Very happy for her. And guess what? Like I said, um, I'm going to do my closing remarks here, as I said I would. I'm going to keep it very brief and very quickly, because once I end this, I'm outie like 5,000. I'm going to be out like a race car. um, I shouldn't use that, but yeah, whatever. I'm using it now, and I own that. So yeah, whatever. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna definitely address that on Monday. Where you know, where do you think this is going to proceed? Furthermore, but I do want to say that this is a good, good thing for everybody. And I think Joe Biden is going to be very happy that she is going to be the next associate justice. Now, what this means for her in her next steps, that is to be seen, and obviously we will talk more about that in the coming days. And the other thing is, I just want to say happy Thursday to y'all. And yeah, we are going to touch more on Russia on Monday. Uh, that is a topic that I will discuss now, but yeah, y'all can see why. Y'all can see why I'm waiting for Monday because I got a lot. I got a lot of commentary for this, and I want to make sure I have enough time to do so. All right. Last thing before I head out here is I'm going to work on getting the interview with Mayor Adams. Hoping. I'm hopeful. But yeah, more politics to come. And like I said, I am Audi 5000. See y'all next week. And hopefully we'll have a very less tired me on stream on Monday. With that, I leave y'all with that. Happy Thursday. Have a good day tomorrow. And see y'all back here on Monday. If I do come in here tomorrow, happy Friday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. But I will see y'all Monday. Have a good weekend. Happy Thursday evening.